Imagine trying to write a single sentence that takes 2 hours to read, never changes its pacing, but somehow, against all odds, keeps the reader utterly hypnotized from the very first word.
It sounds impossible, honestly.
Right. But today, we are actually looking at a document that attempts to do exactly that, except, for human emotion, using AI-generated music. We're diving into this incredibly dense 45-track blueprint for a continuous mix, and it's called Rituals of the Nomadic Tide.
Yeah, and the real twist here isn't just the music itself. It's the fact that this is a highly specific, totally mathematical set of text instructions designed to be fed into a generative AI model.
Which is wild. So specifically, we're talking about prompts designed for Google Flow Music Gen AI, right?
Exactly. And usually when people interact with these music generation tools, they just type in something super broad like make a fun pop song or give me a chill beat, and then the AI spits out a 30-second clip, and that's it.
Yeah, you get your little jingle, you move on.
Right. But this blueprint is an entirely different beast. It's this intricate architectural schematic that's basically trying to force an artificial intelligence to engineer a profound, continuous, organic human experience over 2 full hours.
Over 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So the mission for our deep dive today is figuring out how these instructions actually work. Like, how do you translate raw text into a tool that literally manipulates the energy in a room?
It's a great question.
And to understand that, I think we first need to look at the psychological space this blueprint is trying to build for you, the listener. The source material keeps hammering on this one idea, this nomadic coastal aesthetic. What are the actual parameters for that kind of environment?
Well, the aesthetic is deeply rooted in luxury travel destinations. So the creator prompts the AI to evoke spaces like isolated desert resorts, oceanfront boutique hotels, sunset terraces, open-air beach clubs.
Oh, wow. Okay, so very high-end.
Exactly. The emotional target is sophisticated and sensual, but deeply tied to the natural world. The instructions are incredibly clear about what not to do, too. So no aggressive tones, no dark, gritty, underground warehouse vibes.
So it's not a sweaty basement rave.
Not at all. It is meant to be a luxurious, open-air environment.
So the goal is essentially to make you feel the sun and the breeze through the music.
Yeah, precisely. And beyond just that physical setting, there is a core philosophical instruction driving everything the AI is supposed to do. The prompt explicitly demands that the output treats, and I quote, music as ritual, not performance.
Oh, that distinction feels massive. I mean, if you think about a standard pop concert,
yeah,
that is the ultimate performance.
Oh, for sure.
The artist is elevated on this huge stage, bathed in spotlights, and the energy is entirely directional. Like the performer is demanding your attention. And you, along with the rest of the audience, are essentially standing in your own isolated bubbles of fandom, just staring forward.
Right. The focus is entirely on the ego of the performer.
Exactly. But a shared ceremony, a ritual, functions completely differently. In a ritual, the music isn't a focal point demanding your attention at all. It acts as the environment itself.
It becomes the space.
Yeah, it's the air you are breathing. You aren't staring at a stage. You're looking at the people around you, or maybe you just have your eyes closed. The sound is just the container guiding everyone through this, shared experience.
And that immersive quality is the ultimate goal of the prompt. The creator is using this blueprint to foster a sense of global cultural unity through rhythm. When the music functions as a ritual, it strips away the ego of the DJ or the performer entirely.
It's just about the groove.
Exactly. It connects the listener to our collective human history with rhythm. The music creates a space you inhabit, rather than a spectacle you passively watch.
I mean, the philosophy is beautiful. But translating a philosophical concept like ritual into mathematical text prompts for a literal machine, well, incredibly difficult. How does the blueprint actually enforce this sonically?
It starts with an incredibly rigid constraint. The creator implements what they call an ideal BPM strategy.
Okay.
The instruction tells the generative AI that the entire 2-hour mix must be locked at precisely 114 beats per minute. It acts as the gravitational center of the entire piece.
Wait, hold on. A 2-hour mix that never leaves 114 BPM. Doesn't that risk becoming incredibly monotonous and, well, boring?
You'd think so, right?
Yeah, because DJs usually use tempo shifts as their main weapon. They speed the track up to whip the crowd into a frenzy and then drive it back down to give everyone a chance to breathe and grab a drink. If you strip that tool away, doesn't the energy in the room just completely flatline?
It sounds totally counterintuitive, but if we look at the psychology of trance states, a static tempo is actually the mechanism that unlocks the ritual. The blueprint notes that 114 BPM is a critical midpoint.
What makes 114 so special?
Well, it's roughly the tempo of a brisk human walk or an elevated resting heart rate. So it's slow enough to let spacious organic sounds breathe, but fast enough to maintain a physical, danceable pulse.
Oh, I see. So it's literally mimicking a biological rhythm.
Yes. And by refusing to change that tempo, the music actually bypasses the analytical part of your brain. Think about it. If a DJ is constantly shifting the BPM up and down, you are consciously aware that you're being manipulated. You realize, oh, I'm listening to a constructed DJ set.
Right, you can feel the gears turning.
Exactly. But when the tempo stays locked at 114 for an hour, the repetition becomes ceremonial. The brain literally stops tracking the beat entirely and just surrenders to it. That is how you induce a trance.
Wow. You stop waiting for the beat to change and just start living inside of it.
Beautifully put. And to reinforce that trance state, the blueprint applies the exact same logic to the harmonic structure. The prompt dictates that the mix revolves around one specific key, D minor.
Really? D minor?
Yeah, the document actually refers to D minor as the ritual root note.
Why D minor specifically, though? Are there, like, psychological qualities to that specific key that help the AI?
Actually, yes. Historically, in music theory, D minor is often associated with a sense of profound, earthy melancholy or a cinematic weight. It isn't a bright, bubbly pop key, obviously.
No, definitely not.
But it's also not overwhelmingly aggressive or dark. It provides a grounded emotional weight that works perfectly with Afro house melodies. And by anchoring the AI generation in D minor, the creator is enforcing a concept they call tied harmonic mixing.
Tied harmonic mixing. Okay. That sounds like we are building a very specific closed ecosystem. Like, if you think about it, like building a terrarium.
Oh, I like that.
Right. The 114 BPM is the gravity holding the dirt down, and D minor is the atmosphere trapped inside the glass. So the AI is trapped inside this terrarium. It forces the machine to innovate and build texture within those strict boundaries, rather than relying on cheap tricks to keep the listener engaged.
That is the perfect way to look at it. And the terrarium analogy explains exactly why these constraints are necessary for an AI in the first place. Generative music models suffer from something called algorithm drift.
Algorithm drift.
Yeah. Basically, if you just ask an AI for a 2-hour dance mix with no constraints, it will start hallucinating. It might start with a nice deep house vibe, but by minute 40, it drifts into generic EDM drops or chaotic, jarring cop structures.
Because it just loses the plot.
Exactly. The algorithm is just guessing what should come next based on all the internet training data it ingested. So the 114 BPM and the D minor root note act as guardrails. They prevent algorithm drift and force harmonic stability. Because the key never strays far from D minor, the listener is never jolted out of the trance by a jarring, unexpected chord clash.
Okay, so if the tempo and the key are essentially locked in this terrarium, how does the AI actually populate that space? Because without tempo shifts, the creator has to lean entirely on sonic texture to keep you engaged. When it comes to the actual instruments, what is the AI being prompted to generate?
The instrumentation instructions are brilliant, honestly, because they rely on intense contrast. The creator basically commands the AI to merge ancient acoustic textures with modern electronic depth. So the foundation of the mix is built entirely on ancestral hand percussion.
So we're talking about physical, tactile instruments here,
Yeah.
not drum machines.
Right. Congas, djembes, shakers, tribal drums. The prompt specifically instructs the AI to generate rhythms rooted in Latin and African musical identities.
Which creates that danceable foundation.
Exactly. But more importantly, it grounds the sound in human touch. Hand percussion naturally carries micro-imperfections. It feels warm and organic, which ties directly back into that goal of global cultural unity. It's an ancestral rhythm memory that our bodies inherently understand.
I love that. But obviously, a luxury beach club in 2026 isn't just a drum circle on the sand. There has to be modern production driving this, right? How do you introduce electronic elements without ruining that ancient earthy feeling?
Well, the prompt explicitly bans harsh robotic timbres or aggressive industrial synths. Instead, the electronic layer is built from deep sub-bass grooves and organic atmospheric pads.
Let's break those terms down for a second for everyone. When the prompt asks for sub-bass and atmospheric pads, what is the AI actually being told to synthesize?
Good question. So sub-bass refers to the absolute lowest frequencies in the music. It's usually felt in the chest more than heard by the ears. It provides this warm, rolling physical pressure underneath the drums.
Okay, and the pads.
Atmospheric pads are the sustained, drawn-out electronic chords that float way above the mix. They don't have a sharp attack, meaning they don't hit hard. They just swell and fade slowly.
And how is the creator prompting the AI to make those pads fit that specific nomadic coastal vibe? Are they just typing, make the synth sound beachy?
No, they are much more specific than that. The prompt dictates that the synth pad should be explicitly inspired by the physical environment itself. So ocean wind, shifting sand, and vast open skies.
That's incredibly poetic for code.
Right. To achieve this, the AI is instructed to use heavy, warm, analog-style reverb. Reverb creates the illusion of physical space. By drowning these electronic chords in deep reverb, the AI generates a sonic ceiling that feels incredibly vast. It creates a sense of distance and airiness above the dense, tight percussion.
So to build on our terrarium analogy from earlier, the ancestral hand percussion, like the djembes and shakers, they act as the physical earth. It is the tactile dirt and the heartbeat right under your feet.
Yes, exactly.
And then the electronic elements, the sub-bass and that huge spatial reverb, they act as the weather. They provide the wind, the shifting atmospheric pressure, and the expansive sky overhead.
That's a great way to visualize it.
Because you need both.
Right.
You need the grounding earth and the vast sky to make the ritual feel like a complete immersive world.
And that contrast is exactly what gives the mix its dimension. The AI is synthesizing the ancient and the futuristic simultaneously.
Okay, so we have the setting, we understand the 114 BPM and D minor ecosystem, and we know the AI is utilizing this amazing mix of hand drums and ocean wind synths. But a ritual has to go somewhere. It can't just be static for 2 hours. How does this blueprint evolve over time?
It evolves beautifully. The document maps the 45-track journey across 4 distinct emotional phases. And these phases are actually designed to mimic a sunrise to sunset narrative arc.
Oh, wow. That anchors the whole experience beautifully to the natural world. How does phase 1 begin?
Phase 1 is called the opening variant, and it covers the first 11 tracks. The prompt conceptualizes this as the sunrise awakening.
Okay.
So the AI is instructed to keep the energy incredibly soft. It relies on those breath-like ambient pads and very minimal percussion. The 114 BPM pulse is there, but it's subtle.
It's like you are just opening your eyes on a sunset terrace. The day is just starting to warm up.
Exactly. Then the mix transitions into phase 2, which is the development variant, covering the next 10 tracks.
Right.
This is the rhythmic build.
The sun is getting higher.
Right. Mechanically, the AI is prompted to increase the density of the mix here. It introduces more layered hand drums, maybe some marimba tones, and that rolling sub-bass groove really starts to take hold. The earth layer begins to dominate.
And that rising tension naturally forces us into phase 3.
Yes. Phase 3 is the peak variant, spanning 12 tracks. This is the Afro house dance ritual energy. The sun is blazing at its highest point.
The peak of the day.
All the ancestral percussions, the congas, the shakers, are fully layered and driving the mix forward. And the text prompt specifically demands emotional uplift here.
Wait, how does an AI process a subjective human concept like emotional uplift? That feels like something only a human DJ could read from a crowd.
It is tricky, but it translates that text sentiment into audio data. To create uplift, the generative model introduces brighter harmonic frequencies. It opens up the filter on the synthesizer so they sound sharper and more present, and it increases the velocity of the rhythmic hits.
Wow.
It's literally mathematically engineering the climax of the shared ceremony.
That is wild. But a peak can't last forever. I mean, what goes up must come down.
Which brings us to the final 12 tracks, phase 4, the closure variant. This is the sunset decay.
The winding down.
The text prompts the AI to pull back the rhythmic density. The driving drums slowly echo out, the sub-bass softens, and the mix sinks back into a down-tempo chill state. The reverb is pushed to the maximum, mirroring the vastness of the sky as the sun finally dips below the horizon.
It's a gorgeous emotional arc.
Uh-huh.
But there is an obvious technical hurdle here that we haven't talked about. Generating 45 distinct tracks is one thing, but stringing them together into a 2-hour unbroken ritual without ruining the trance state, that's something else entirely. How does the blueprint handle the transitions between tracks?
The rules regarding transitions might actually be the most crucial technical constraint in the entire document. There is a strict prohibition on hard stops, sudden drops, or abrupt changes in volume.
Because if the AI hallucinates a sudden break of silence, the entire trance is instantly shattered.
Precisely. To prevent this, the blueprint goes back to that tied harmonic mixing concept we mentioned. The AI is instructed on the exact mechanics of the crossfade.
How so?
The percussion of the incoming track must bleed in slowly over the outgoing track, while the harmonic shifts are masked by the long atmospheric tails of the synth pads. It's this incredibly complex layering system.
That structural design mirrors nature perfectly.
Yeah.
If you think about how an ocean tide actually works, a tide coming in isn't a sudden aggressive event. The ocean doesn't just leap 10 feet up the beach all at once.
Right, it's gradual.
Yeah, it is a series of overlapping gradual shifts. Wave by wave, the water inches forward, pulling back slightly before pushing further up the sand. You don't even realize how deep the water has gotten until you are suddenly swimming in the peak energy of it.
That's a fantastic analogy.
And that seamless wave-by-wave crossfading is really the only way the 114 BPM trance state actually survives over 2 hours without the listener just getting completely bored.
And it proves why this specific blueprint is so revolutionary for generative AI. The creator isn't just asking a machine to make some background music. They are manipulating the machine's latent space using tempo constraints, harmonic ecosystems, and these tide-like transitions to perfectly engineer a state of human flow.
It's incredible. Let's pull all of these threads together for a second. The blueprint for Rituals of the Nomadic Tide takes the concept of luxury travel, the open air, the ocean wind, and distills it into a strict mathematical formula.
Right.
By locking the tempo at a biological 114 beats per minute and confining the harmony to the cinematic weight of D minor, it actively prevents algorithm drift and creates this hypnotic, closed ecosystem.
Yes.
And inside that ecosystem, the AI blends the grounding, tactile earth of ancestral hand drums with the vast, reverb-soaked sky of modern electronic pads. And finally, it strings 45 tracks together without a single hard stop, moving us seamlessly from the soft awakening of sunrise to the dense, communal peak of a shared ritual before gracefully decaying into the sunset.
It is a masterful manipulation of both artificial intelligence and human psychology. But, I think examining this blueprint leaves us with a really profound question that extends far beyond music production.
Oh. Where does this leave you, the listener, in your day-to-day life?
Well, consider the psychological state this prompt engineers focus, unity, and a seamless flow. Now compare that to how we actually consume media and structure our environments today. We live in an ecosystem completely defined by algorithmic disruption.
That is so true.
Our apps are designed to jolt us with notifications. Our feeds encourage us to skip content every 3 seconds. Even the pop music we listen to is engineered with jarring drops and sudden structure changes to desperately hold our attention.
We spend our entire day just being yanked from one focal point to another.
Wow.
It is a chaotic series of disjointed performances.
Exactly. So the provocative question is this. If we now possess the technology to perfectly engineer a 2-hour human flow state, if we can write a text prompt that induces calm, continuous, hypnotic focus, why are we allowing algorithms to primarily distract and disrupt us?
Ah, wow.
What would happen if we applied tied harmonic mixing to the architecture of our own lives? How would your focus, your anxiety levels, and your connection to the people around you change if you intentionally designed your daily environment to flow seamlessly, rather than just accepting a daily soundtrack of sudden drops and hard stops?
If a machine can be prompted to treat time as a ritual, surely we can too. It's a fascinating look at how constraints actually create freedom. So don't just accept the chaotic algorithms you're handed. Think about the BPM of your own day. Take that meditative thought with you, examine the transitions in your own routine, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.